Hi there, and thanks so much for checking out this video. So it is time for my March setup, and I've been really excited about this one. I am doing Japan as my theme this month, and I've wanted to do it for a while, but I was saving it for this year to fit in with my overall journal theme of travel or countries of the world. And I also wanted to wait until springtime because I'm doing a lot of cherry blossom and it fits nicely in with the time of year. So for my cover page, I'm starting off drawing a cherry blossom branch, and I've sketched it out before filming because I will go back and rub things out and redraw it a lot, which is not very interesting for the video and is a bit of a nightmare to edit. And now I'm going over the pencil lines in a fine line pen. This one is a 0.2 because I don't want the outline to be really bold, but I still want it to stand out nicely. I find blossom is one of the easier flowers to doodle. I just start with a central dot and then build 5 petals around this. The petals are not an even shape, but I tend to try and make them a little bit wobbly or jagged to emulate nature. Some of the flowers are seen head-on, so they have the petals evenly spaced, and some of them are at different angles. To make them look like they are pointing in different directions, I make the petals closest to the stalk shorter than the rest. It's kind of hard to describe, but hopefully you can sort of see how I'm drawing it. I might make a short describing how I do it, so let me know in the comments if that would be helpful. And then to finish off the flower, I add little stamens in the middle. I'm also doing some buds at various stages of opening and adding in a few really small leaves here and there. I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen for my lettering, and I have added the Kanji symbol from March underneath. I used the internet to help me with that, so I really hope it's right, and I'm sorry if it's not, but I'm just going to blame Google if it's wrong. Then I am finishing off the rest of my design. So in the background I'm adding a Torii gate, and I'm not giving this a pen outline as I kind of want it to look really soft and in the background behind the blossom, which is also why I've only done one side and left the other side, suggesting it's hidden by the branch. I really like the blossom being pulled into sharp focus in the forefront, which is ironic considering that my camera decided it was going to lose focus entirely for this bit. I'm using pencil crayons to colour this because I want it to have a really soft and gentle feel to it, and I haven't ever used crayons in my bullet journal before, and I haven't used these particular ones in years, and not since I was in school I don't think, but I am loving how they look, so I might have to use them again in future. For the Torii gate I used just a black and a red crayon, and then to get more depth I just pressed a little bit harder where I thought there might be some shadows. I wanted to include Torii in my design because they're just so striking and bold and really beautiful, and of course they just immediately make you think of Japan. They're most commonly seen at the entrance of a Shinto shrine or a sacred space, and also in front of tombs of emperors. I didn't realise it, but there are lots of different types of Torii, and this one is based on a Myojin Torii. I have no idea if I said that right, I really hope I did. But it's one of the more commonly seen ones, and it has those curved upper lintels at the top. To colour the blossom I'm using a really soft blush colour first, then adding a darker pink to the centre and going up the petals a little. And then for the branch and the leaves I'm using a reddish brown colour, and then I added a thin layer of a different brown over the top because the branch was a bit too red, and I think that just made it look a little better. I've never visited Japan, but I would really love to go there. It's definitely on my bucket list. Japan has such a rich culture, and I think it's very different from the Western world, and I just really would love to explore it. There's just so much amazing architecture that I really want to see, and gardens and just beautiful plants and flowers. But there's also so much other cool stuff going on there, like Studio Ghibli stuff I absolutely love, and I'm a huge Pokemon fan as well, so I would love to check that stuff out. And of course stationery supplies, they make so much cool stuff, so I think I would have to take an extra suitcase just for that to bring back with me. I did find out the other day that Japan has those giant huntsman spiders which look absolutely terrifying and would kind of put me off a little bit, but hopefully they aren't that common, and also they aren't poisonous, which is good, but still, like, ugh. For the calendar page I'm again starting off with the cherry blossom, and I'm not going to show too much more of that because it's all done the same as the front cover. I will keep writing on the join of the pages. I know it's going to be awkward, but I just keep doing it. And regretting it. So for the rest of this page, I'm doing a Japanese style scene, including some high peaks. Japan is known for its mountains and volcanoes, the most famous probably being Mount Fuji. I'm keeping it really simple by just using a grey crayon, doing the outline and a bit of shading. I'm leaving the very top white to suggest there's some snow cover. Then I'm doing a lower hill in front with a few quick scribbly trees randomly placed. And then I'm moving over to the right side of the page where I've sketched out a little temple and I'm putting a few blossom trees around it. The temple is pretty simple like the Torii gate. I've just used the red for the roof parts and brown for the main structure, and then I'm leaving little gaps where the windows are and just adding a little more pressure to where there are shadows. This design is taken from some images I've seen of multi-storey wooden pagodas, which are traditionally part of Buddhist temples and apparently originally used to house relics. They are supposed to have an odd number of floors. Mine has 5 floors, which are supposed to represent the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, wind, and emptiness or heaven. They are also thought to ward off bad luck and help prevent disasters. I personally do associate them with Japan, but they are actually found in many Asian countries such as China, Korea, and Thailand. So where's the calendar, I hear you ask? Well, I'm drawing it on a piece of tracing paper or velum so that I can stick it over the top of the scene in the hope that it will look kind of like a shoji screen. A shoji screen is part of traditional Japanese architecture, and it's a wooden frame with translucent or transparent sheets attached to make room dividers, doors or windows, and they are usually sliding, but they can sometimes be hinged as well. So I did my grid as normal and gave it a thick border so that it looks like a frame, and I actually think it looks really cool. I decided just to stick it down in the middle because it lays flat on the page anyway, and also you can then lift the sides up to see what's underneath better after I write in all the events for the month. Again, I added the kanji symbols for the days of the week, and I'm sure I haven't done them very well. It takes quite a lot of skill, I think, to do proper traditional Japanese writing, but I think they look quite cool. The next 2 pages are a lot simpler in design. After the previous 2 were quite time consuming, I wanted something I could do a lot quicker. So my to-do list and my gratitude log are next, and I just gave them a border, and I used a ruler, which is unusual for me, but I feel like the Japanese style is very precise and neat, so I used it to get cleaner lines. And in the corners I did this little pattern which imitates something I found while just generally researching Japanese design. It's called kumiko, and it's a technique of assembling thin wooden pieces without nails or glue. There are lots of designs, but this one particularly kept coming up in searches, so I decided to add it to this page to add a little bit more interest. I felt it was a bit lacking in colour, so I wanted to add something which wasn't too time consuming, and remembered I had these flower petal washi stickers which I think worked quite well and tied in with the blossom theme. Next Next up is my habits and tracker pages. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because the setup is the same one I've been doing for a while now and it works out really well for me. As usual, I included my plant watering tracker, my yoga tracker and 4 habits down the right side. I was getting a little bored with the habits I've been tracking for a while now, so I did change them up a bit last month and I think I'm going to alter them slightly again this month. So I've decided to change a couple. I've kept my skincare and walking trackers, but I've added a handstand one and I found that really is helping me to remember to practice my handstands at least once every day. And the other one I'm attempting is no snacks because I do tend to eat in the afternoon, even if I'm not hungry, and that's usually because I'm bored with work or whatever, so maybe this will help me to resist temptation. There's not much space left on this page for decoration and I really wanted to include some washi tape somewhere because it is a Japanese thing and also it's a staple bullet journal decorative item. The word washi literally means Japanese paper, so I just felt like I had to put it somewhere. One of my favourite washi tapes is this Camelia one from the washi tape shop and I think it looks really pretty down the sides of this page. Plus Camelias originate from Asian countries including Japan, so another reason to use it. The only thing that I'm not that pleased with is that it feels a bit out of place with the theme. I usually try and keep the pages cohesive, but this one kind of doesn't match the rest. It's not really a big deal, but yeah, it does niggle me a little bit. Then finally, it's my weekly spreads. I'm drawing out 6 boxes for the days of the week. The weekend will be in 1 box. And I'm giving it a thicker border again to tie in with the Shoji screen from the calendar page. This will be a Dutch door so that I only need to draw my design once, and I'm following a similar theme with the blossom at the top, and then I've got the Torii gate below, which again is half hidden by looking like it's behind my grid. I've written the days of the week in Kanji again, but on the main page rather than within the grid because the days won't change configuration and I just put the dates on the Dutch door pages themselves. Once I cut out all the pages, I did the rest of the design on the final page, which is similar to the calendar with a little temple and a blossom tree. And that is it. I'm really pleased with how this design turned out, and I just can't wait to use it. I really want to visit Japan one day, and researching for this design has just made me more eager. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more arts and crafts and bujos. Thanks so much for watching, bye!